Well, hi again. This is our video for the week of December 19th through the 23rd, talking about the things that are going to happen in the market, yellow folders, red folders, just the various things that could affect the stock market for this week. It really appears that several things for the week that are coming up have to do with housing and starting. Of course, everybody's concerned about the economy, concerned about inflation, concerned about the recession. So these indicators sometimes carry a little extra weight for that very purpose, okay? So on Monday, one thing we have is the National Association of Home Builders. Basically, this looks at the sentiments of the home builders. Basically, how are they feeling about future buying, current buying, because the housing purchase is a large purchase, and it has several follow-on things that go along with it, appliances and furnishings you see here, and other spending associated with housing. So this does give us an indication of the overall health of the economy. This is why we get the National Association of Home Buyers sentiments. This is a yellow folder, so it's supposed to be yellow, supposed to mean low impact. Sometimes I found that the low impact isn't necessarily as low as they want it to be, but it's what it is, right? On Tuesday, we have the building permits and housing starts. Again, something else to do with housing. Basically, these things are important, again, because we're trying to gauge, or they're trying to gauge, the strength of the national housing market and the state of the economy in general. Housing plays a big part in the economy. If people are not doing building permits, or they're not doing housing starts, that could just be indications that there is a level of concern. Basically, it says here, if the forecast is higher than the previous forecast, then it could signify that the analysts are expecting to see the economy has started to recover. But if the forecast is similar to or lower than the previous result, then the markets are still unsure as to whether the economy is gaining momentum. Then when we move on to Wednesday, we have the current account, CB consumer confidence, existing home sales, crude oil inventories. The red folder here is the CB consumer confidence that I'm going to talk about here in a second. And this is of, basically of importance, because we want the consumer board we want to know what do our consumers feel. How do our consumers feel about this? The current account is basically a record of the nation's transactions with the rest of the world over such a defined period. In this case, what we're looking at for the current account, again, another yellow folder, we're looking at quarter over quarter. So we're comparing our transactions with other nations. The CB Confidence Survey is a monthly report that details the consumer's attitudes, buying intentions. Are people going on vacations more or less? It is Christmas time, but that doesn't mean people are traveling, or they're putting, their money into travel or into vacations. But this is where this consumer confidence comes into play. Notice it is a red folder. Consumer confidence speaks as to how people feel about inflation, how people feel about recession, how people feel about the economy, looking for how consumers are responding to these things. All righty. Our crude oil inventories basically is talking about what kind of supply and demand do we have in the area of our oil stores, our stockpiles. For Thursday, we have the final GDP orange folder, unemployment claims. Again, in the final GDP price index, quarter over quarter, CB leading index, month over month. That the orange folders are supposed to be medium impact. Well, sometimes we hear medium impact, and again, the market gets the information and doesn't like it very much, and it responds in a stronger manner. These folders, we have to watch always the red folders and the orange folders, just to see how, if you're trading each day, or you're trading, day to day or intraday, then you do care about these folders. And my community trades SPX on a daily basis, and we just trade it for the day. So it's important to us, the kinds of things that will happen that day that could potentially move the market one way or the other. This is why we care about it, right? Why do y'all care? We care because as day traders, We want to see what kind of things can happen during the day that will move the stock prices throughout that same day. The final GDP quarter over quarter is basically the total monetary market value of all the finished goods within a country's borders in our specific time period, which will be quarter over quarter. Like I said, this is a concern there. Unemployment claims, that kind of speaks for itself. People want to know, are folks going back to work? Are we getting people back to work? And what is our job market actually look like, right? Our Consumer Board Leading Economic Index is an American economic leading indicator, which is intended to forecast future economic activity. Friday, we got all kinds of stuff happening Friday. Most of it happens before the market actually opens, but that doesn't mean that there is not an impact here. Red folder, core PCE price index, month over month. I'll talk about that on the next slide. And we got the University of Michigan consumer sentiments at the end, the inflation expectations, all these things, those happen at 10 o'clock. They're yellow folders, but even though they're yellow, doesn't mean they won't have an impact. Alrighty, so the core PCE price index, basically this index leaves out the food and energy. That's why it's the core PCE. If you have a regular PCE, it includes everything. But the core PCE leaves out food and energy so you can really get a truer look at the underlying inflation. It's so much easier to see. So now, what does all this stuff mean? Well, you see that every day there's been something, every day coming up. There will be something that some kind of red folder, orange folder, yellow folder of information that the world, the people, the stock market are using, will be using to determine the health of the economy of the United States. Even though I didn't talk about any of the folders from any other countries, those can have impacts on us as well. But we do this in my community. We look every morning at this Forex list of folders for the day because that informs us of what could possibly happen that day. Alrighty. So my community is the Educator to Trader. Be sure to like and share this video, like and subscribe to the channel. So when I come back and forth, you won't miss anything that I share. My community is primarily those who sell options. We're option sellers. We do cash secure puts, vertical credit spreads. We cover calls people. I coach all the selling strategy. So feel free to look us up. You can check all the links below this video. Check us out on Instagram and in Facebook. We've got a membership community where we all trade together, and you can find all of those things down below. Alrighty. See you soon.